I absolutely hated high school, but now it doesn't even matter. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's workout, we are doing a leg day. My goal here isn't to have huge legs, if you guys don't know already. More of a calisthenics guy trying to learn that one-arm handstand. But yeah, guys, let's talk about today's topic, why I hated high school. If you guys don't know, my actual 10-year graduation just passed. I graduated high school in 2014. Now, since it's been 10 years, we actually had our high school reunion, which was only a few weeks ago. And of course, I did not go. And I'm going to explain why. Now, the first thing about me in high school is from the fact that I went to a high school that was not really diverse. I kind of felt like a social outcast. I wasn't in the best physical shape. So for that reason, I kind of got bullied and picked on because I was so skinny. You know, I've talked about the story plenty of times. But when I was in middle school, I loved it. You know, we were in North Florida, so a part of Jacksonville, and the school was very diverse. I had plenty of friends. I felt like I was more social throughout that period too. But then it was a transitionary period. We moved to another part of the city. Wasn't a lot going on, wasn't that many people. And the high school itself, it was actually a good high school. It was actually the high school that, if you guys know Derrick Henry, the football player, he went to that high school too. He was only a class above me. But at the same time, like I said, because there wasn't a lot going on in the city, you know, not diverse at all. I was literally the only black person in most of my classes. Max, you know, it might be like 2 or 3 black people in a class. Because of that, that's when I also experienced like some force of racism. And this is some stuff in which I've never talked about, you know. Now, it wasn't like overt direct racism, but it would be jokes, you know, oh, the lights turned off, oh, where's Austin? You know, things like that, or making like sly racial remarks. It seemed like in that school I was always reminded about the color of my skin, and that kind of got annoying after dealing with that for 4 years. And I would say the first 2 years were actually the worst. Really didn't like it. But, you know, by junior year, the third year, I kind of grew into it. Now, in terms of recreational stuff I did not play sports because I, unfortunately, was once again too skinny. And I tried to play basketball, but I just wasn't good enough. I didn't practice enough. I wasn't tall enough. And so not being able to do sports, and it seemed like all the quote unquote cool kids who were obviously in sports, I decided to join band. You know, I was doing music since middle school, but I wanted to carry that on throughout high school. Now, depending on the high school you go to, some bands are actually cool, but that's more the black schools. The school I went to, if you were in the band, like you're a nerd, you're a geek. And the thing is, at the time, I kind of honed into the identity. I was like, okay, I'm in band, I play the French horn. I also was solving Rubik's Cubes at the time. Kid you not, guys. You guys have probably seen it, but I was literally speed solving Rubik's Cubes. So when you combine that element, like my identity is that I'm a geek. And so I kind of embraced that moving into social media. You know, this account actually, the first username was called Geek AMD. If you go back to my oldest videos, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. That's the Austin, the nerdy Austin, the geeky Austin, before I fully developed into myself, right? So I had a passion for music, and even my friends that I did develop, they were all through band. And, you know, band kids at this particular school weren't the quote unquote coolest people to hang out with. You know, I would try to, you know, make connections with the cooler people in high school, but I could never just relate to them. I'm not sure what it was. Now, though I did hate high school, I believe there's some things that I could have actually changed. And if I could go back in time, here's what I would do. First thing I would do is I simply would have made more connections. You know, my last video, I talked about how I'm naturally like an introvert sort of guy, but that was definitely the case when I was in high school. Never raised my hand, never spoke to the teacher, never made friends in class. If anything, you know, I hated school, and that's because I wasn't social enough. Yeah, I could have forced myself to be more social. I could have broken out of the negative thoughts I had surrounding my environment, which kind of probably affected my personality. You know, so if I could go back, I would definitely make more connections. I would have also improved my image a lot faster too. I would have bulked, I would have gained some weight. I would have got into either weightlifting or calisthenics a little bit sooner. Because I didn't realize the impact, even in high school, your image plays in terms of you being accepted, especially if you go to a small high school. Like, keep in mind, my graduating class was only 100 people. That's it. It was a very, very small high school. Like, everybody knew each other sort of deal. Now, with it being 10 years later, Here's the big point I want to talk about, and that is the fact that high school does not define your adulthood or who you grow into at all. And I wish I would have known that when I was 18 years old, because high school, after watching the movies, seeing the shows, it feels like you find your identity in high school. But that was not the case for me. If anything, when I went to college, that's when I started to find more of my identity personally. When I went to college, I joined ROTC. I started getting more into fitness. I became a little bit more social. I got my first girlfriend. That experience, and that was probably due to the diversity of the environment I was in too, and the atmosphere. It was almost like a borderline culture shock, in which I've had two major culture shocks in my life. The first one being college, the second one being graduating college and moving to a bigger city. But yeah, your high school personality does not define who you are. Even think about the popular people, right? The guys who were in sports, the guys who were very social, charismatic. Where are they at today? Where are they doing? They're probably still in that same environment, probably got the same friend group, probably doing the same old stuff, and really haven't elevated their mindset since high school. And I know that's definitely true in my high school, because one of the biggest reasons why I couldn't go to the reunion, not that I would go anyway, was from the fact that I'm busy, I'm traveling, I'm doing things. Also, when you go past high school, it truly allowed you to grow into your true self. And that usually happens within a college environment if you do decide to go. Or you get put into the real world and you really gotta start figuring stuff out for yourself. But because I had the newfound freedom of not being around my parents, having a car, being able to maneuver and do the things I want to do, that allowed me to sort of pave my own way and to actually figure out my true passions. And honestly, for me, I even stopped music. I stopped doing it my senior year because I was focused on dual enrollment, trying to get those credit hours in so that I can go into college as a sophomore. And I know most high schools have like a social hierarchy too, in terms of the social dynamics, the cool kids club, the athletes, the this, the that, this group, that group, the lames, the kids with autism, the kids with no friends, etc. Right? But once again, none of that stuff matters changing into adulthood. Who you were in that environment almost never translates into the real world. Now, speaking of the real world, what actually does matter now? I think what matters now is hard work, self-confidence, and developing the skills, not your high school status. You have to completely detach yourself from what you personally were in high school. It does not matter anymore. It doesn't matter if you were lame. It doesn't matter if you were popular. You completely have to detach yourself and create a new identity and reality for yourself. It's more about who you become as a person over time. Do you want to look at yourself 10 years, or maybe if you go to your high school reunion, do you want to be the most fit, the smartest, doing the best in the best career, the most intelligent, the most articulate, right? That's who I would want to be, and that's what I always idealized for myself. I did make a joke to my family. I was like, I'll go to my high school reunion only to flex on them. I look like I haven't aged that much. I'm more muscular. All the girls who didn't want me back then want me now. And that's actually a true case too. I could speak about that a whole nother video. Once the girls see you leveling up, a few years after high school, it's funny how you become more accessible after a few years, but in high school, they didn't notice you at all. They did not see your potential. I mean, at the time, maybe you were not working on yourself either, but it's crazy how things flip and change over time. One of the kids who actually, quote unquote, bullied me, made fun of me for being skinny, or, just constantly picked on me, right? He ended up messaging me on a platform. I'm not going to say which, but he ended up messaging me on a platform saying how, he loves my videos, this and that. And I'm like, bro, I didn't even reply to it. Now, remember, high school is just a small chapter in your life. It was a small chapter in my life. And though I didn't like it, truth is, most people grow through pain. Most people grow through struggle. There's no light without darkness, right? And it's more about who you become once we're in that adulthood, right? That's all you should focus on right now. It's pursuing your purpose, elevating yourself in every single way, and leaving that all behind. And when you pop up to your 10 or even 20-year graduation, they're going to know what's up. And all you can do is say, I told you so. Thank you guys for watching. If you want me to personally coach you on how you can increase your fitness, increase your online image, get more dating options, pretty much instill everything I've learned over these past few years into you in actual steps, click the link down below, apply for a free consultation, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. All right, peace.